Okay, so if you decide that you want to buy property as a resident, the next question that I get is where do I start? What do I buy? Okay. If your goal is to, in the long term, build a rental property empire, then it's a nice way. During residency, actually, can be a nice time to start. I started in residency, so I'm a little biased, okay? So, and one of the methods that I teach people in my programs is the house hack method, where you effectively buy a property that you intend to rent down the line, but you tap into the fact that you're going to live there for a little while and get an owner occupied low down payment loan, which is like the FHA loans, 3.5% down. You can live there for a year and then move on and do it again. It's a nice way to get into rental property. But where do you buy? Okay, so I tell people that there are four types of neighborhoods. Okay, A, B, C, and D, and I hope this is not reversed. But A, B, C, D neighborhoods. A neighborhoods are like the cream of the crop neighborhoods where doctors, quote and unquote, live. Nicely manicured lawns, really nice, quiet, nice, tidy. But D neighborhoods, on the other hand, are kind of like your war zone areas. That's places where you park your car and you're looking behind you. You lock your car twice because you want to make sure it's really, really locked. Those are your D neighborhoods, right? And then there's like B and C neighborhoods that are somewhere in between. B tending more towards a, decent neighborhood, not rough, but not too expensive. Just nice, okay? Just quiet neighborhood, nice, middle class homes, whatever, beautiful. C neighborhoods are kind of lower income, but not quite war zone, like places that you can tell, okay, there may be a little crime here and there. You may lock your car and look behind you once, but you're okay just looking once, unlike here where you like look back multiple times, right? For me, at least most people consider your nice cash flowing neighborhoods as your B's and your C's, right? So B and C neighborhoods are kind of where you get a better deal in terms of cash flow when you buy. So, if you're buying to live in for a year or 3 years, say during residency, you probably may not want to be an A. All right, unless maybe you have kids and you want to send them to those big schools, to the nice fancy schools that characterize A neighborhoods, which I can head on a different soapbox for that. But your B's and your C's can get you decent properties. In other words, not terribly expensive. I'll say go for B. Not terribly expensive, but good enough neighborhoods that you feel comfortable in, but at the same time that when it's time to rent out the property, you will get some cash flow. Okay? Um, and then when I say cash flow, what do I mean? That means that you run the numbers and that when you take the rent, which you can, if you want to see how much rent you can get for a property, you can go to rentometer.com, rentometer.com. So you go to rentometer.com and get the rent. And this is just a spreadsheet activity, okay? So you take your rent and then you subtract all the operational expenses. What are operational expenses? Things like vacancies, 5 to 10%. Taxes, you can look that up on the property assessment website for your city. Insurance, call an insurance broker for that. Maintenance, so your lawn mowing and snow removal, just call service providers and find out, okay, what will it cost to do those. So taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, utilities, you can call utility company, repairs, just put a number in there. And then when you subtract, you see, and then subtract your mortgage payment on that particular property. If you're trying to estimate how much of a mortgage you'll pay, Zillow has an app called Zillow Mortgage, and you can plug in your numbers there and see what your mortgage payment will be. So you take all of that, and then you get your cash flow number. Okay? When you get that cash flow number, if it's positive, well, that's good. That tells you that it could be a worthwhile investment if when you buy. Now, I also say that while you're still in training, to be financially savvy, the best that you can, split your costs, limit your costs. So, a house on its own is a liability. Okay? I just gave you a long list of things that you consider when you're renting property. But as a homeowner, those things are also expenses that you've just incurred just by buying a house. So you have to pay taxes, you have to insure the home, you have to do maintenance and management. So you have to mow the lawn, you have to cut the grass, or whatever, to take out snow. You have to pay utilities, and if there are repairs, you're in there. So all those expenses don't go away because you own the home. They just get lost in your bank statement. Okay, so you should look for ways to split the cost with someone, either a roommate. So if you buy a property, well, buy something that you can maybe rent out a room to your colleague or something, or maybe you can buy multifamily properties. Some cities have a lot of multifamily properties where you can live on one side and rent out the other side. What I tell residents is, listen, if you're single and you don't have a wife or a husband to, want to have a pretty chandelier, then just get something and rent out the other side. So you can buy like a 4-bedroom house and live in one room and rent out the others. And guess what? You're not only going to be having enough to pay your mortgage and all these things I just listed, you're going to have enough funds to live. And then your 60K that you're making on, from your hustling at the hospital, um, can go into a savings account, right? But that is how people set themselves up for financial independence from a fairly early stage, if you may. So you can either get an actual multifamily property, or you get a single family home with enough rooms that you can rent out and rent it out. All right. So hopefully I just gave you some nice tips that I hope that you take to heart, because you could definitely do this. And I hopefully have shown you how you can make it through residency and come out financially strong. All right, guys. Hope you have fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. If you liked it, definitely like, share, and subscribe if you're watching on my YouTube channel. If you're not watching on my YouTube channel, then maybe you should. All right, guys. Definitely share with a friend. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. Have fun.